My name is Lynn Thompson. I have been in healthcare for about 30 years now. I've been very lucky as far as my career, never had to look for a position. I've always just been, positions have opened and I've been pulled over. In April of 2025, I was laid off from a senior vice president role that I'd been
Okay.
in for about 8 months. So I decided to take a few months off. I took the summer off and then I started looking about October of 2025.
Yeah.
And around February of 2026, realized I needed some help. The whole looking for a job thing had changed since the last time I looked for a job. And I realized the last time I looked for a job, I actually found it in the LA Times in the employment section. So things have changed a little
What was kind of like that experience from October till February,
bit.
March? What had you done,
Yeah,
would you
I
say?
started reaching out to my network initially, and a lot of the people that I had worked with were getting really close to retirement, So I was being referred here, being referred there, but nothing was really sticking. I was on LinkedIn like crazy applying for positions, and I wasn't getting any traction whatsoever from LinkedIn or from Indeed. Didn't really know. Like, what do you do beyond that? Because I figured, okay, October, I would be interviewing around December and Q1, I'd be picked up.
Mm,
And it wasn't happening at all. And so a little
right.
doubt started to set in. When you and I connected, I had gotten one interview and I was in the interview process with a company. And
Mm,
I literally went through 7 interviews. I did a proposal, I did an annual project plan. I met with like 6 people. I drove out to downtown LA. I live in Orange County. That's a hike.
yeah.
And after all of that, in the end, to be told, we really appreciate all your effort, but we decided to go in another direction. It's a blow to the ego.
Discouraging.
So you and I connected and I went to started this path.
How would you describe basically the program as a whole, right? What would you say were the biggest differences before and after kind of thing?
Well, I think before I felt like I was on my own doing this. And then after I joined the program, I felt fully supported. And the career counselor, especially the one that I'm most connected to, Amanda, my savior, honest and truly, just kind of walked me through what I needed to do now and what that job search looks like now versus 30 years ago, and how you use LinkedIn as a tool. So it's not just submitting your resume blindly into this, chasm of emptiness and you kind of hoping and praying, but there were a lot of
Hmm.
techniques that were employed. There were sessions on how to interview successfully. I had always been the interviewer, not the interviewee. It's a switch, from someone
For
asking
sure.
you questions to you asking. So just tools like that, AI information as far as, automating things. The whole fact of having to change your resume is nonsense, but that's what's required now. And I'm not sure I would have found this position without the assistance because it was the outreach to the recruiters that I've done. I sent it out, and literally within 24 hours, I got 3 responses from recruiters. And it was
Wow.
like, whoa, okay. All right, I guess it worked.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember you coming in very early on. You scheduled like 3 or 4 interviews right away
Hmm.
after a few months of
Getting
just
anything.
nothing, right?
Yeah.
So obviously a huge part is the support, a huge part is the way that everything is done, but it's also the amount of results that you got in a short period of time,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Around 90
Mm,
days. So, yeah, ended up with 2 offers, and I really feel like the company that I decided to move forward with is actually a really, really good fit culturally. When I talked to the recruiter, when she offered me the position, she
mm.
called me at 7 a.m. and she's on the East Coast and she was like, I've been waiting. I wanted to talk to you. I'm so sorry to call you early, but you said you were an early riser. Are you up? And it was like, I got everything I asked for plus more because they were like, we want to make sure we want you. And I was like, I want you too. So
Yep, yep.
it was really, really a good outcome.
Most people are very fearful to even consider like, hey, is this actually gonna help me? Like, what would you
Yeah.
tell somebody that's in a similar spot as you
Yeah.
were a few months
Yeah.
ago?
I would say, especially if it's someone who hasn't looked for a job in 5 years or more, that you need help. The process is so different. I needed the refinement. I had never done it before because I'd always just kind of been moved with people who I previously worked with. So I'd say that's most important. And it's an investment in yourself. I figured, okay, as soon as I land, that first check is paying for the investment, and it's an investment in myself. You know, Unfortunately, I've paid more money for a purse and some shoes. So it's like, this is all about me and making sure that, again, I was going to find a good fit. So yeah, like I said, it's an investment in yourself. And we spend X amount of dollars on things that don't give you that same return. So why wouldn't you invest it in yourself?